All right, this video is for the Bronco tailgate window, power window going up and down, or in a lot of people's case, not going up and down. So anyways, I'm going to show you how to look at this thing and get it going. Test it. So you've got your button up front. It's left of the steering wheel. And then you've also got a switch in the back with a key, which is interesting. And all it does is when you spin the key, brings this arm over, hits a switch, goes the other way, reverses polarity, hits a switch, does the opposite function. So first things first is check your fuse panel. Get over there, 20 amp fuse, check it, make sure it's good. Check it with your meter, make sure you got your 12 volts there. And if you're good there, then the next thing you want to do is go to your 4-pin connector. It's under the hitch, and you want to see if you got power there. This wiring harness, it runs in the channel of the frame, so don't bother pulling the interior apart like I did. It's not there. So here's your 4-pin. It's white. It is right there. So you just pull that apart. 4 wires in and out. And you can check that for voltage. If you've got voltage there, then you know that's good. So now you're up to looking at this section here. Obviously, I should have said the very first thing you want to check is this is the last one that ends up going to the motor. You want to check and see if you've got power here, have somebody hit the button or something, or you can hit the switch over here with the key if it's still assembled, and see if you've got power here. If you got power here, you know, then obviously either this is a bad connection or the motor's bad. If you want to test the motor, there's more than one way to do it. This is just how I do it. I got a little ATV battery. I hooked up my little jumpers, and then I just pulled this apart and hooked up to the terminal. You know, obviously positive on one, negative on the other. And for me, it did actuate. And then if you reverse the polarity, it just brings the window the other way. So that was the case for me. So I knew my motor was good, but you know, this thing still wasn't working. I still couldn't get power to the motor. So basically the next thing that I looked at is that there's a little like a limiter switch so that you can't bring the window out too far, is what I think it's for. So this thing is normally a closed circuit, and then when the window gets to a certain stage, it breaks the connection and the window will not go up, and it's, you know, it's stuck there. So I think it's so you just don't spit the window all the way out. Say you were retracting while the gate was open, maybe you got your top off or something, and then you lift up the window for whatever reason and it just keeps on going, and it, you know, who knows, it messes it up. So they put some little limiter switch in there. So for me, if I connected this, then I could get the thing to work. So I knew my switch was just bad there on the inside, and it's a pain to get to. You can't even really see it, you can just feel it. So I just disconnected, but after I do that, jumper it, now it works. And then don't be alarmed if you hit the retract and it doesn't really move, because it mostly works off of gravity. So if it's on its side, it doesn't want to work. You flip it up, it goes up and down just fine. I mean, I'm not saying if it doesn't go in that you don't have some issues in there, but for me it seems to work out okay. It doesn't seem like there's any problems. The only other thing about pulling this whole thing out is that these 2 wires here, your defrost wires, and you can pull the wires out here, and then they're kind of soldered onto the glass. Well, they're not onto the glass. It's got a little plate in there. Obviously creates resistance, heats this up. But mine on this other side had become detached, so it doesn't work. I don't particularly care, so I just went ahead and snipped the wires. I don't know, I could always go back in and try and fix it or something, but like I said, I don't particularly care. So hopefully that helps people get this thing fixed. Like I said, it's not really that hard. I think the most challenging part of this whole thing was that when I saw the wires going in through here, I thought they went back up in and went through the interior. And I didn't know. I don't have any books on this. I don't have anything. So I just did a lot of things that I didn't need to do, which is okay because I'm cleaning up the interior. So taking it all apart, I ended up finding a bunch of AR-15 magazines underneath the seat. So, hey, when you get a new vehicle, it's never a bad idea to just kind of take it all apart and clean it up. There's a whole bunch of amps and stuff that were wired up in here and subwoofers, so I'm going to take all the wiring out for that anyways. Other than that, I mean, there's a couple goofy little things that were wrong with this. That little tab that sticks out was bent. Actually, yeah, it's still not functioning the greatest. There's like a return spring somewhere. But at least now it functions. Like I said, these things are silly. When the window's up, you cannot open the tailgate. So if this thing goes bad, you're screwed. And that's where I was at. So it's like, well, this thing's not a whole lot of good for doing anything if you can't open the back and put stuff in it. I mean, what are you going to do? Put stuff through the freaking front door? What a pain in the butt. So, yeah, I mean, I like this thing though. I mean, I'm thinking I'm going to keep it. We'll see. I say that with everything and then I don't keep it. So we'll see. I think I'm going to keep it. Next thing on the agenda is the front end. Steering seems tight, but it still wants to wander. So I got like a ball joint or I don't know, it's a bearing, but it's not making any noise. So it's probably a ball joint. So I got to look into that. But it's getting pretty cold. It's -25, so I'm going to fire up the pellet stove and see what I can do.